Hey friends, welcome to Gardening with Creekside, and this week's nursery tour. We're going to focus on what is growing, blooming, and thriving here at Creekside Nursery in Dallas, North Carolina, a Zone 8A. We do these nursery tours so that when you sweet folks come to visit us, you see kind of in real time what we have available, what is looking great. Obviously, we can't show you everything that is here at the nursery, but it just kind of gives you an idea of things that we are excited about this week. Of course, we are open Wednesdays through Saturdays, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. A couple people have been asking about the July 4th. We're going to be closed on July 4th itself. Other than that, we are operating normal hours. So the nursery will be closed on July 4th. I believe that's a Thursday. So we'll be closed, but on Wednesday, Friday, Saturday of that week, normal operating hours, and those hours go all the way through really mid-December. Now, we have not shown you this flower bed. This has been recently planted, I don't know, last 2 weeks or so. This bed is showcasing the new introductions for 2025. Of course, obviously, we have a great relationship with our friends over there at Proven Winners, and they send us a gorgeous selection of next year's new introductions. So these are going to be the annuals for 2025. When you come to the nursery, right, it is here on a full display that you can see the new super petunias that are going to be coming out, the new scavolas and cuffias and salvias and coleus and let's see what else is well, dahlias, right? Lots of beautiful things that will be on the market next year. I've used quite a few of them in different projects, and as the season progresses, then we'll give you more information and more detail about that. We are just excited about these, and so you can come and see what they look like in the landscape here at the nursery. Now, let's head on into the greenhouse because I don't know where you live, but around here in North Carolina, you know, it's mid-June, getting close to the end of June already. It's hot and it's humid, and there are some plants that struggle with the heat and humidity. There are some people that struggle with the heat and humidity, but there are some plants that absolutely thrive in the heat and the humidity. One of those being caladiums. So we have a beautiful selection of the Proven Winners Heart to Heart caladiums. Y'all, these things love the heat and humidity. They absolutely go bananas. You can literally see them grow before your very eyes, whether you put them in a container, you put them in a hanging basket, you put them in the landscape. It truly does not matter the application that you use for these caladiums, they will thrive. Now, typically we think about caladiums as being shade only. Well, because of the great genetics, they now have some that can do full sun. In fact, the vast majority that we have right here at Creekside will either do sun or shade, anything in between. And when I say they can do full sun, they absolutely can do full sun. We have them, of course, in the signature garden. I have them at the house, literally sun up to sundown. Whether you want something with pinks or whites, or you want something more red, it does not matter. They come in all sorts of different colors, different shades. They make stunning hanging baskets. You can do just a caladium hanging basket. You know, talking about the easiest thing ever. Throw some water on it every couple of days. You will be good to go, and it is easy and yet stunning all at the same time. This is this lemon blush? Yes. So lemon blush is, I believe, the caladium of the year this year. And this is going to be one that is for shade predominantly, which is great because it has that nice bright lemony chartreuse color. We used these quite a bit last year in our shade gardens, and they were gorgeous. So we do have some lemon blush available for you. Of course, the petunias, you can absolutely still be adding those. If you're interested in perennial grasses, it is a great time to add perennial grasses because they love the heat, right? So we have here a whole selection, like we have Niagara Falls. Niagara Falls is the one that we have in the berm. It's what I would call a blue grass, like it has a shade of blue to it. It is very columnar, it is very upright, It does not flop. It is fantastic. This is going to be a panicum, which does really well for us here, and it is hardy in zones 4 to 9. So if you're interested in adding perennial grasses, this is a great time of the year to do that. Also, we're going to back up just a little bit because I'm going to give you an update on the container that you were with me when we planted this not that long ago. Remember, this is an old Weber grill, and I planted this in a patriotic theme in honor, of course, of July 4th, but also the Olympics, right? The Olympics are coming up, so I went ahead and planted it, used a new Kufia that is coming out on the market. I think this was the Kufia. Yes, it is. So, new red Kufia that will be out next year with, of course, our Mini Vista White and our Mini Vista Indigo. So you could, of course, go in a gazillion different directions with your red, white, and blue. I just thought this was really fun, and it has filled in quite nicely for sure. Now, coming on over, Echinacea. It is Echinacea season for sure. We have got a lovely selection, and we have more. This is just what's out right now of those Echinaceas, and these are the proven winners ones. Whether you want to go with that classic, you know, you've got a pink, you've got the fuchsia is bright with that lovely pink, and that's the thing about Echinacea, right? Maybe you have one that's looking a little sad, right? Look, you've got buds all over it. And don't worry if it's looking sad, go ahead and leave it, because as that old flower dries, the seeds dry, and then your finches and your songbirds love to come and eat them. So of course we have that. Then the price is white. Love that. With a big, nice, beautiful white head. Of course the center looks has a little bit of the yellow tones to it. So if you want to keep it light and airy, Summer Song Fire Finch, that is a mouthful, is in the reds and the pinks and the oranges. And then you've got, of course, the Once in a Melon, big, huge melon-colored flowers, and then a double Echinacea. This is Raspberry Beret. So we have got those available for you. If you are interested in attracting pollinators, right? June is pollinator month. If you want to do pollinators, and if you want to attract hummingbirds, y'all, Agastaki. This is the meant to be queen nectarine. I have several of these in the cottage garden at the house. And y'all, I cannot tell you how many bumblebees, and in fact, there's a honeybee. I don't know there's a right over there. Sometimes the bees get a little shy when they're on camera, but the honeybees love these plants, as do the hummingbirds. Like, I will just sit there, and I forget, one of our staff was at the house the other day, and they were like, oh my gosh, look at all those hummingbirds. They were going nuts over this. So Agastaki is a great one. Obviously it's going to be that full sun, and it's going to be hardy in zones 5 to 9. Beautiful peach colored flowers on that as well. Now, what we're going to do is kind of head on over here to the pines. In the summertime, we like to spend as much time as possible in the shade here, and you have got a gorgeous selection of shade-loving plants, whether it's a perennial or if it is a shrub. Look at the hydrangeas, y'all. Dear heavens to Betsy. So we showed you these when they came in from Spring Meadow, and they are in absolute glorious display. This is now it's gonna sound funny, but this is Let's Dance Rhythmic Blue. Now, obviously this is not a blue hydrangea, it is a lovely pink. All of your Macrophylla hydrangeas are pH dependent, meaning whatever the soil's pH level is, you're going to have that will affect the color. So this is then Blue Jangles. So we naturally have acidic soil here, but because of the fertilizer that we use, a lot of times it will turn our hydrangeas pink in the pot. Once you get it home with you, then they're going to turn a lovely, more than likely, a lovely shade of blue. That is Blue Jangles as well. Look at that. So pretty. We had a customer pick one up the other day, and on the same flower, like half the flower was pink and half the flower was purple. It was gorgeous. Now, we also have right here, I want you to see the difference though in the size of the petals. You tiptoe in here. So here we have blue jangles, right? And then this is Wee Bit Giddy. I want you to look at the difference in the flowers, right? Look at how different the petals are on those flowers. That's like when we did the tour at Mimi's house of all the hydrangeas. Y'all, you can never have too many hydrangeas. You can have, even though these are still the Let's Dance series from Proven Winners, and they're still the Macrophylla hydrangeas, you can get such a beautiful variation in color and size of the petals, the shape, you name it. Other things that are great, of course, for the shade. We get people asking all the time, we need an evergreen shade plant. Acubas are wonderful. This Acuba is going to be an evergreen. It is perfect for the shade because it is green with those beautiful yellow specks on it, and it gets to be a nice big size in your garden. Excuse me. So you can pair that with your hydrangeas, pair it with your eucharis, your this is the Evervillo. I always get it wrong. Is that right? Did I say that? Yeah, I did. The Evervillo grass, right? Nice, beautiful, evergreen color that is going to be in your shade garden. So you have got all of those. Astilbes. Astilbes are blooming. Of course, Astilbes predominantly do like the shade. So here we have, this is going to be Maggie Daly. And Maggie Daly obviously is going to be a lovely shade of pink. And on the tag, you'll notice that it says full sun to full shade. Now this is where being a student of your own garden is very important. In the South, Astilbes cannot do full sun. They really and truly cannot. If you're, because this is hardy in zones 4 to 9, if you're in zone 4, I almost guarantee that you can put this in full sun. But in the South, maybe it's morning sun and afternoon shade, and they do tend to like consistent water. But this is a really fun blooming time. This time of year is gorgeous. Now, let's talk about Jerry's favorite thing. You ready? Hostas. All right, so we have got quite the selection of hostas in here, and our sweet folks have been working and doing an amazing job of getting everybody sorted and organized. And I love the fact that when they were doing it, they started with the nice low petite hostas like Time in a Bottle, beautiful chartreuse, right? This is going to go from Time in a Bottle. And then you have Silly String, right? So look at all these gorgeous different colors. So you have Silly String, and then you have Curly Fries. They look almost like the exact same hosta, except they're different colors. Again, you can never have too many hostas in your garden. And just walking it through. So from short all the way up, of course, to the bigger boys. So if you have a shade garden, or if you're in a cooler climate and you can do your hostas in the full sun, I envy you, but just massive assortment of beautiful hostas that you can add to your garden. Let's see, what else? Let's see, what else we're gonna do? I do know that we are going to head up to production real quick. I know this is not officially a nursery tour, we're gonna be like a production tour because we have some construction happening up there. So I wanna take you up there and show you some of the fun things that are happening up to production. So let's zip up there. Okay, my friends, obviously we are here at production, and the greenhouses, they look a little different, don't they? As I say, they're naked. So our friends have come back that from Atlas through that whole process, and you can see that we have, I say we as a collective, they're doing all the work, have completely stripped off all of the polyplastic off of the greenhouses. And we're doing that for a couple of reasons. So let's just walk through and tell you kind of what's happening, because really each structure, some of the same things are happening, but also some of the different things are happening. So we'll start with this one on the very end. So it's going to get completely new plastic all the way around. So every 4-ish years with a greenhouse, if you have the poly on it, then you're going to have to recover it because it is a plastic product, and because of all the sun and the weather and the elements, that they become cloudy. So after a certain number of years, they don't allow the right UV light or light through, and so the plants don't grow as well. They tend to be more leggy, they stretch because they're not getting the adequate sunlight that they need. So you have to replace it. I don't care who you are. If you have a poly greenhouse, you have to replace it every several years. We're finding about 4 years for us. So that's what's going to happen on these 2 houses that we're growing. On this house, this has the automatic arms, the sides that go up and down, and this particular one, for some reason, it just got funky and it broke, and so it was not opening correctly. So they're going to fix that for us and make sure that that side is rolling up correctly. So that's pretty much on that one. Along with, so this one and the next one, as far as the greenhouses go, you'll notice, now it may look weird because of our level, but these are significantly shorter than the new production house. And because they are shorter, they tend to hold heat in the summertime really well, which in the summertime you really don't want. You want your greenhouse to vent. So what they're going to be doing also is installing exhaust fans. Those are those big fans that are up at the top, and they're sucking out all the hot air. So they'll kick on, they'll suck out the hot air. Once it cools down, then they turn off. So both of these houses will have those new exhaust fans. This is the first greenhouse that we built up here. And when we built it, we thought, oh, this will be great because we'll have roll-up sides. Well, we thought it won't be a problem to be manual. We can easily just roll them up. Well, you know, it's quite a workout to do that. And plus, you physically have to be here to open and close them. Whereas the other ones are all based off of a thermostat. So we're going to switch those over so that this one will too be automatic sides based off of a thermometer and go up and down. So they have completely stripped everything off. So of course it gets the double layer of poly, roll up sides, exhaust fan, all the good things on that one as well. And then last but not least is the storage greenhouse. So, well, it's not really a greenhouse. It was a greenhouse. This was one that we recycled. These were part of our original greenhouses that were down at the nursery, and so we recycled them, put them as one big one, and we turned it into our storage house. So this houses all of like our fertilizers, our aquapot inserts, all of our boxing for shipping, right? So this truly is a dry storage building. This had one layer of, it wasn't even clear. It was a
clear, then we put the shade on.
Oh, okay, it was clear, and then we put the shade cloth on it. And it would get, it was toasty. And if you've ever been around a Espoma fertilizer, you know that it has a lovely fragrance. So then when you put heat with Espoma, like it was quite fragrant in here. So what they're gonna do is they're going to put a cover on this that on the outside is white, right? So we're trying to reflect as much light as possible. And then inside on the bottom layer, it is black. So it's not going to let any light through whatsoever. Now, we do have lights in here, so that the light part is not an issue. We're just trying to keep out as much sunlight as possible so that the heat does not go crazy in here. Because also, as it gets hot, and it's crazy to say this, y'all, but the heat will absolutely like warp plastic. Like we have had nursery pots literally melt before because certain areas get way too hot. So we need to keep this relatively cool. And when I say cool in the summertime, I'm talking like 80 degrees, right? I'm not talking about a cool 55. And so that is gonna be huge in here. Of course, we do have just the roll-up front door, so when we need to close it with weather or whatever we can, but we're not putting any fans in here either, are we?
No, and we'll see how it goes. I do wonder if we would need something just to kind of help
circulate. Yeah, so Jerry's not mic'd up. I don't know if you heard him say that, but that's going to be kind of a to be determined. We might need to come in and decide that we need something to help suck out the hot air. So we will look at that for sure. But having these three done now, and you might go, well, Jenny, it's only June. Well, Jerry and I were talking about that today, and it's like, we're already thinking about next year. What projects can we do right now that will ensure that we have a fabulous fall, a great spring, and a next summer? So going ahead and getting these projects done, because as you notice, these two houses are empty. Other than there's some hanging baskets in there, which the fellas can easily work around, but we're not actively growing plants in there. It is way too hot. That's the thing in North Carolina. The plants are better almost outside than being in these houses because it just gets so incredibly hot. So there's a lot of things happening. As always, my sweet people are working in the greenhouse, kind of arranging plants and organizing plants. So there is always something to be done here at Creekside Nursery. So we've got plants available for you, of course, at the nursery. We would love to see you on Wednesdays through Saturdays, 9 to 3, closed on July 4th. And as always, thanks so much for gardening with Creekside. We'll see you on the next video. Bye, friends.